we treated uncleanness of issues and the cleansing process. That is issues that has to do with discharge. Discharge in both men and women, and how that will be treated. And we said that it is important that water be used for washing and cleansing. Then, if it is sin somebody has committed in the process, the person will go to priest, and there will be atonement for sin offering and burnt offering. Thereby, the person will be cleansed after the 80th day. Now, that was about 15. Chapter 16 talk about Day of Atonement. The important thing there was the fathers of old had to, atone for sins, different sins that has been enumerated in the time past. All those sins, whether they be sin offering, peace offering, burnt offering, grain offering, whatever sin, depending on this Day of Atonement, which is a day that Israelites has to fast. One day that Yahweh called all Israelites, 24 hours of waiting on him. Now, they have to confess their sins, and the priest has a duty to ensure that everybody present will receive the priestly atonement. 2 goats were important, were mentioned. 1 goat for Yahweh and another goat that was called scapegoat. And the scapegoat will be laid hands on by the priest and will let go. That means the sins of the people will be laid upon the head of the goat, and the goat will be taken to the wilderness and allowed to wander away. While the goat that is meant for Yahweh will be killed for atonement of people's sins. Now, that was something they must do, which Yahweh commanded, that it is perpetual. It is for year in, year out. That is, it is for generation to generation. Now we look at eating of blood. Yahweh forbids his people to eat blood. Chapter 17 says, "And Yahweh spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons and unto all the children of Israel, and say unto them, This is the thing which Yahweh has commanded, saying, What man soever there be of the house of Israel that killeth an ox or lamb or goat in the camp, or that killeth it out of the camp, and bringeth it not unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation to offer an offering unto Yahweh before the tabernacle of Yahweh, blood shall be imputed unto that man. He has shed blood, and that man shall be cut off from among his people." Now, Yahweh is talking about killing animals, shedding the blood of animals. While it is permitted to kill animals, there is 2 different ways of handling this issue, even 3. One is animal shall be killed for sacrifice, atonement of sin. Two, animals are allowed to be killed. If it's a game, if it's something that one caught in the bush or in the house and you want to use it to eat, to cook and eat, it's different from the animal that is meant for sacrifice. Now, another one, or the third one, is animal that died on its own. So how do we treat these? Now, Yahweh asked us to be careful. We must be careful. Sacrificial animal, one, you have a sacrificial animal. Sacrificial animal, the blood must be, the priest must take care of it. The animal must be killed at the door of tabernacle. That is, must be within the tabernacle. And it will be used for atonement. That is known from what we have been studying from the book of Leviticus all the way from chapter 1. Yahweh commands them to bring such animal into the tabernacle or temple, as it were. Later in the days, it was temple. The second way we have to deal with animal is animals meant for food. You have gone out, you hunted animal, you don't shed the blood and take it to to idols or to wood or to stone or to anything. Now, how you treat the blood of the animal is the concern of Yahweh. Animals that are killed in the home, that you have to use to cook, to eat, you must open the ground and spill the blood in the ground and close it. The blood should be treated decently. You don't have to take it into the field and pour it to a particular thing, wood, stone, or whatever. Or lay incantation or enchantment or whatever on, or use it to do any prayer. No. It is an abomination to do that. Now, why Yahweh, particularly the second point, animals that are for food, why Yahweh wants us to be careful, or the people of the ancient days, the fathers, why he wanted them to make sure that the blood of animal was disposed properly, was because in Egypt, those people would not, kill animal just like that. They will atone it, they will use it for sacrifice, they will pour it upon, use it for libation, use it for anything that they can lay hands. They sacrifice it to devils, to idols. In the land where he brought them, they were also doing the same thing. And that's why Yahweh was always telling them, do not do after the manner of the land where they came from, that is Egypt, and the land where he brought them, the land of Canaan, the Amorites, and so on. That was their practice. Blood doesn't just be, poured out. They must, to those Gentile world, they sacrifice it to their gods, to their idols. So Yahweh said, you should not do after their culture or their manner or whatever, however they were, disposing bloods of animal, because blood is, precious. Blood, in fact, when you talk about life of anything is in the blood. So Yahweh says, treat blood with that decency. treat blood. This one is gone off. Treat blood in a way that, it will not appear as if someone is sacrificing to idol. Do not sacrifice to idol. Now the third one is dead animals. Dead animals. So these are the three particular, three items or three areas book of Leviticus, mentioned in Leviticus chapter 17. You must be careful on how you treat them, how you treat the blood. Dead animals here must not be eaten. It is, before Yahweh, it is unclean. To individual, to Israelites, they are unclean. So we are commanded never to eat any dead animal, or else the person will be unclean. But if by accident somebody eats dead animal, maybe somebody give you something you didn't know how the person prepared it. It was, you discover it. All you do is to stay home for the whole day until sunset. Then you wash your clothes. That is it. You do what he commanded about cleansing. You wash your clothes, wash yourself, and in the evening you can be clean. But that is by accident, unknowingly. If somebody had done it knowingly, and the person now, recognize or realize, oh, I've done something that the law forbids, you will go through the process of uncleanness and atonement. That will be sacrifice. And the person will go to the priest, and the animal will be killed for atonement. And maybe after 7 days, the person will go to the priest. On the 80th day, the priest will offer sacrifice, so that the person will be cleansed. But let us fish out something that Yahweh said in verse 7 there. And they shall no more offer their sacrifices unto devils, after whom they have gone a warring. This shall be a statute forever unto them throughout their generations. On no occasion, on no account shall Israel offer anything to idols, to wood, to stone. The sacrifices commanded and how they should treat animal, it is Yahweh's command, and that Yahweh's command, he called it status. It is law, and that law shall, subsist throughout the generations of Israel, or the children of Israel. So they should do it, observe it, year in, year out, ensure that anything that has to do with blood, they should not eat. Verse 10, and whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, that eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eateth blood, and will cut him off from among his people. So it's a command that has or attracts death sentence, death penalty. Verse 11 says, for the life of the flesh is in the blood. So every human being, be them, even animals, birds, whatever that has blood, the life of that which has blood, the blood inside it, Yahweh sees it as the carrier of life. So we must, and that's why Yahweh is saying, be careful on how you treat blood. You don't just waste blood. Because whatever you slaughter, even to animals, animals were not meant to be slaughtered in the first place. If you go back all the way to Genesis, they were not meant to, in the days before Adam and Eve sinned, animals were talking, animals were speaking. It was after sin and all the rest that animals, he is the one. He will come, he will do whatever, he will cut off, this thing will go out. Verse 12. Therefore I said unto the children of Israel, no soul of you shall eat blood, neither shall they,
any stranger.
All right. Neither shall any stranger that sojourneth among you eat blood. And whatsoever man there be of the children of Israel or of the strangers that sojourn among you, which hunted, this is hunting animal now, and eateth any beast or fowl that may be eaten, he shall even pour out the blood thereof, and cover it with dust. So open the ground, pour the dust, the blood there, and cover it. Verse 14. For it is the life of all flesh. That is, blood is the life of all flesh. The blood of it is for the life thereof. Therefore, I said unto the children of Israel, ye shall eat the blood of no manner of flesh, for the life of all flesh is the blood thereof. Whoever eateth it shall be cut off. So this is the commandments that Yahweh gave to Israelites. Chapter 15 talk about animal that died on its own. Animal that was killed by other animal or somebody killed it. And, what Yahweh is saying here is such animals must never be eaten because they died and their blood or the blood of that animal wasn't removed. That's why it is good, necessary to, when you want to kill animal, chop off the throat, cut the throat, so that the blood will let out, will spill, and be poured in the dust, and you cover it. Or the priest take it and use it for atonement the way it is prescribed. So there must be a clean way of killing animal. Don't just kill animal for killing sick. That will be abomination. And the person has to go through atonement and repent of it. Now, let me read somewhere. Where Yahweh was like pointing to us. Now, a question was asked somewhere here. I've mentioned earlier that the reason why Yahweh wants us to be careful about spilling blood of animal, and one, Yahweh wants you to be careful. You don't just kill animal because you are the greater, whatever, you have power, you can kill it and throw it away, or, Yahweh says that that animal carry life. And for Yahweh, life inside that, blood inside that animal is its life. So to waste it anyhow is a sin. Now, you don't go eating whatever that is, wasted by somebody, call it carcass. And such carcass, it is diseased because it is carrying inside it blood that is not out. The blood is still there. So it becomes unhealthy, unclean food to eat. They always say we should not do that. However, all all the verses that we have read, 1 to 16 or thereabout, refer primarily to, that is verse 15 to 16. They refer to animals that the bloods are not drained out. And once somebody touches it, the clothes the person is wearing is unclean. The person's body is unclean, so the person has to wash the clothes and wait a whole day before the person will go out. Right. A question is asked: Can blood be eaten today? Blood of animals, any type of blood. Blood is blood. Can blood be eaten today? No. Now in Christianity, they said yes, but the answer is no, because this is a command. All we've been reading since is a command. If we go to Acts chapter 15, Acts 15, 19, I think, let's say Acts 15 verse 20, let me see, verse 20 and 29. 2029. The Council of Jerusalem, that Acts 15 talk about the Council of Jerusalem, where the elders met with Paul and others to discuss the Gentiles that were, Gentiles that were eating animals with their blood, or taking it to idols and sacrificing and all those things they were doing. So the Gentiles that were coming into the covenant of Israel were to be taught or directed how they should carry themselves. So that council or assembly came out with 4 points which those Gentiles must follow. One of the 4 points was that they should not eat anything that has been strangled, that has blood in it, or that even had its blood spilled out, cooked, and eaten. Verse 20 says, but that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols, and from fornication, that is the second one, and from things strangled, that is the third one, and from blood. Strangled animal, that means blood is inside it. It was very, very common. These 4 items listed was very, very common amongst the Gentiles who were coming into the assembly of Yahweh, who were coming into the covenant-keeping Israelites. Now, it wasn't like the 10 Commandments was rewritten or was compressed to those 4 items. No. It was just what was predominant, the kind of sin that the Gentiles were prone to. So, we see here, they identified them and told them, if you will take care of these 4 areas of sin that they were committing, they will do well. No fornication, no idols, no eating of strangled animals, and no eating of blood. Because they will spill the blood, wrap it, cook it, and eat, as if they are eating the flesh of the animal. In the days of old, really, I remember when I was that younger, our grandfathers and mummies, they were eating this kind of thing, blood. They will get them after sacrificing it to their wood and stone, they will get the blood, they will boil it, they will eat it as well. So that is the kind of thing that was predominant in the Gentile world, and is still predominant today. There is this something that they sell. What is that something which they sell? Is
pudding.
They use it for pudding. They use it for so many things. You know, they pour it in all this something they prepare around and people eat. I've forgotten the name. So that kind of thing made of blood, you should not be part of it. Now, verse 21 there says, for Moses of old time has in every city them that preach.
Gravy, is it?
Gravy, okay, that thing is gravy. That preach him being read in the synagogue every Sabbath day. All right, let's look at verse 39, Acts 15:39. And the contention was...
No, 29.
29, okay. All right, that ye abstain from meats offered to idols, and from blood, and from things strangled, and from fornication, from which if ye keep yourselves, ye shall do well, fare ye well. So that was the 4 things that they were to pass on to the Gentile believers that were coming into the covenant assembly of Israel. That if they do those 4 things, it will prepare them to be permitted. It will prepare them to be absorbed into the assembly, into the temple. So it wasn't a commandment that replaced the 10 commandments. No, not at all. But it was something that you have to prepare them. It's like all that we are looking at all this while, cleansing, making sure that you get yourself washed, cleansed, where you have defiled yourself or made yourself unclean. You stay home for 1 day or 7 days, as the case will be. Then you make atonement where required before one is allowed into the temple. So in this case, the Gentiles have to do away with all those 4 items so that they will be allowed to enter into the temple of Yahweh. Very important. Now, we see that the Christians asked themselves a question. Let me read this particular aspect. Say, are Christians allowed to eat blood today? The answer they gave is yes, they are. This prohibition against eating blood was given only to the Israelites and to any alien, that is foreigner, living amongst them. The prohibition was part of the ceremonial law that became obsolete after the sacrificial death of Yeshua Messiah. They call him Jesus Christ. It's not Yeshua Messiah. Whereas Yeshua Messiah will keep this commandment that Yahweh gave. Because Leviticus 17 verse 7 says that is a statute for Israel forever and ever. Here, because Gentile Christians do not practice the covenant way which Yeshua, the Messiah himself, practiced, taught people, Christians don't follow his way. They follow the way of another, which was predicted by Apostle Paul. In the time of Apostle Paul, when he was teaching them, he said to them clearly that now that he's with them, working with them, speaking with them, teaching them all these things, time will come, not quite long, they will deviate from the teaching. Even from men amongst them, people amongst them will rise to teach something different. But he placed a curse. So anyone that teach any doctrine outside what he taught them, outside the covenant way of Yahweh, outside the status that Yahweh gave to them, so that person will be accursed. And they remain accursed. He said, even if the person is angel, he said, even if the person is a human being, in fact, even if it's himself, anybody that will teach anything outside what he taught them, what Yahweh or Yeshua handed to him to pass on to them, then the person remains accursed. But look at it here. The Christians said, we rebel. We cannot keep it. We must eat blood. Now look at their contradiction. Let me read this a bit. You see the contradiction in even accepting, to disobey, to go against the word of Yahweh. The blood of, let me read it, because Christ Jesus, or Jesus Christ, is different from Yeshua Messiah. Yeshua is the one that came from the Father. Yeshua said, I came from my Father, or I came in my Father's name. This Jesus didn't come on the Father's name. He came by his own name. That's what even Yeshua said in John chapter 5, verse 43. That another will come in his own name, whom Israelites or the Jewish people will believe. Because he was calling them and told them, I have come. I came from my Father. My Father's name. I took after my Father's name. Listen to me, follow me, do what I command you. But those rebelling Israelites said, no, you are not the one we are waiting for. You are not the Messiah. That's exactly what the Christians did here. They went away and they were expecting another. And when the time came, they produced Jesus for themselves. 325 AD or thereabout. The name Jesus came on board by Constantine and the bishops of Rome. They founded Jesus. Now, look at their argument. They went further. They said, however, there may be times when a Christian should voluntarily, is it what you do? Is it by your own willing? Is it by your own wishes? Is it by your own mindset? Is it by your own guidelines you are following? Or what Yahweh commanded? Yahweh said, this is my status. In fact, beginning from that Leviticus chapter 17, the first thing Yahweh would tell anybody is, Moses, tell them, and he will mention who is sending Moses. He will mention his name, he will quote his name, and I read verse 1 there, said, and Yahweh spoke unto Moses, saying, speak unto Aaron and unto his sons and unto all the children of Israel, and say unto them, this is the thing which Yahweh has commanded, saying. It's what Yahweh commanded. Christians don't believe in Yahweh's command. Christians don't believe in Yahweh's law. Christians don't believe in Yahweh's status. Quite all right, we cannot use animals or kill animals for atonement. The area of animal sacrifice is taken away. Yeshua, because they were shadowing or foreshadowing the coming of Yeshua, and Yeshua was the one now who became the sacrificial lamb. Therefore, nobody makes sacrifice based on animal blood and all those. No. But these simple principles of life, commandments of life, shedding blood and eating blood, shedding the life of killing the animal, then extracting the blood, eating the blood, or eating the animal with blood, right from even the time of Noah. It was mentioned, it was repeated. Abraham knew about it. The children of Israel, when they were coming back from Egypt, it was demonstrated. They were told, thou shalt not kill, including be careful about animals. Now, we see in Genesis, in the book of Acts of Apostles chapter 15, where the council of Jerusalem, part of it was to tell the Gentile world who it was the way of their life to eat blood, to kill animals and sacrifice such to idols, to wood, to stone. Now, they had that meeting and told them that if they must come into the congregation, into the assembly, into the temple, if they must become covenant people, if they must fellowship with Israelites, they must refrain from eating blood. Now, Christianity here said, oh, it is not like that. We must do it our own way. But they say, however, in times when a Christian should voluntarily refrain from eating blood, particularly when someone else might be hurt or offended if blood were eaten. Such an instance is recorded in Acts. They were trying to quote Acts 15, 20 and 29. We are trying to quote the place. And the place which they were like saying, oh, this is only momentary time. We must look at. Well, somebody may refrain from. But then they said it was for the people at that time. Now let me read on. So, the Christians or the Christian leaders at the time, that is all Jews, were given instructions. That is, at the time this instruction was given in Acts 15, that it was to the newly converted Gentiles regarding which parts of the Old Testament law they should follow. The leader determined that out of respect for Jewish believers, the new Gentile Christians should abstain from eating blood, as among other things. And they are quoting Apostle Paul. They said, Apostle Paul later laid down principles governing these matters in Romans 14, 13 to 21, 1 Corinthians 8, 4 to 13, and 1 Corinthians 9, 19 to 23. They want us to believe that Apostle Paul, who participated, who was a Jewish man, who was a learned Torah man, lawman, who taught the Gentiles, who because of this issue went to Jerusalem, and they have to, because he couldn't take the decision himself. The council has to teach the people, these Christians who are quoting that Apostle Paul said in Romans chapter 14, 13 to 21, and 1 Corinthians, blah, 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 that Apostle Paul changed the rule. How can Apostle Paul change the rule? Why did he then go to the council in Jerusalem? Would he single-handedly change the rule without recourse to the council in Jerusalem? How could he preach something different? He couldn't preach something different. What is this telling you? What this is telling you is that the Bible you have in your hand, many times you hear Apostle Paul, but pay attention, because there is the original Apostle Paul that followed the covenant, the old covenant, the commandments of Yahweh, the statutes of Yahweh, which Abraham kept, which Yeshua kept, which Yeshua followed, the Messiah followed when he came, and he taught us that principle, he taught us that way, he taught us the commandment, and he said, I am the way. That is that way. The way that Abraham followed. That is the covenant way. He is the way. Yeshua said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Therefore, no one can come to the Father. No one can even enter the kingdom except by him. So if he is the mediator of the covenant, if he is the mediator of the covenant law, and you are saying Apostle Paul said, can Apostle Paul change what the master gave him to teach? When Apostle Paul called the congregation under him and told them, look, if any man come and teach you anything different from what I taught you, that person will be accursed in Israel. So how will Christians suddenly, they begin to change the Bible? So you can say to Apostle Paul, One is the one that hold to the covenant way or the covenant law of follow the way of Yahweh. And he wrote accordingly. And what he wrote in the New Testament tallied or matched exactly with what obtains in the Old Testament. But this other Apostle Paul, the another Apostle Paul, which they do mention, which give them leverage, which give them flexibility to